My wife and I have had a busy morning today. We started off at Oglethorpe College and then went down to Jonesboro. And then we went down to Pascal Restaurant and now here. We got 2 or 3 more stops today, and then we'll go to the Hawks basketball game tonight. And they're going to call out to everybody there to go home and vote, and also to introduce me and Rosen as Jason as the next grandparents of the governor of Georgia. Decatur had early voting. And Sunday voting? How many of you have already voted? Right, how many of you are still going to vote? I want to ask you this. I'll put you on your word of honor now. How many of you agree between now and Tuesday, including Tuesday, to call at least 5 people that haven't voted yet and get them to vote? Yeah. Keep your hands up, I want to see. Okay, that's word of honor, right? 5 more people who want to view. Very good. Well, let me tell you a little bit about Jason, which you live next door to him, so you know as much as I do about him. But I knew him before you did. Jason was 2 years old when I went to the White House, and we really have gotten to know Jason since then. He came to work at the Decatur Center as an intern, and Jason decided as a very young man, before he went to law school at the University of Georgia, to learn about a country that was changing under new leadership. And he thinks that Georgia can change under new leadership. How many of you know what happened in South Africa? It changed from apartheid to freedom. And who was the leader then? Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was a great friend of mine. I was with him. I was one of the last people that was with him before he passed away. I was at his funeral. But back in those days, he came to visit the Decatur Center several times. And Jason decided to go to the Peace Corps in South Africa to learn about what he could do in education in that country that was making a change for the better. And I decided to go and visit Nelson Mandela when Jason was in the Peace Corps. And he found out about it. I didn't want him to know it, as a matter of fact. He found out about it, and he sent me an email and said, "Papa," that's when he called me, "I want to meet Nelson Mandela when you go to see him." And I sent him an email back, "Jason, you can't do it because I got a lot of business to do with Nelson Mandela. I don't have time to take my whole family to meet Nelson Mandela." And Jason doesn't give up when he sets his mind on something. So he sent me another email and said, "Papa, I always wanted to meet a politician that went to prison before he was in office." I took Jason with me. When we met Nelson, I shook hands with Nelson. He said, "Mr. President, I'm glad to see you again. I enjoyed being in Georgia when I visited you there." He said, "Who's this young man?" I said, "Jason Carter." So Jason responded in Zulu. And it happened that is the native language of Nelson Mandela, Zulu. And so they talked 45 minutes in Zulu and left me out completely. It was a wasted visit for me, but I got to see Nelson later on. Anyway, Jason has the same idea for Georgia as a new governor that will bring changes like Nelson Mandela brought to South Africa. We don't have apartheid here in Georgia anymore. We did away with that in 1964. African Americans got a right to vote for the first time. I'm a teacher at Emory University. Quite often I ask my political science classes, when did women in America get a right to vote? A lot of them will say 1919 with the 19th Amendment to the Constitution. I tell them, no, that's not right. That was white women. White women got a right to vote in 1919. African Americans didn't get a right to vote until 1964. And the Republicans are still trying to keep African Americans from voting by changing the Voting Rights Act that Lyndon Johnson got passed in '64 and excusing Georgia and North Carolina and Texas so they could put in voter IDs. Voter ID means that you just about have to have a driver's license or a passport to get a right to vote unless you go through a lot of ordeal that most people don't want to go to. So they're excluding young people in urban areas that don't have automobiles. In Plains, Georgia, where I'm from, everybody gets a driver's license when they're 15, learner's license, and driver's license 16. A lot of young people don't get that in an urban city. And people in nursing homes don't have automobiles, so they have a hard time registering to vote. And African Americans, a lot of them still live in poverty. They don't have a right to vote. So So the Republicans are doing everything they can to keep African Americans and young people and older people from voting, because they know that they can stay in office if just the rich white folks go and vote. But that's why I'm so glad to see so many of you have already. I'm sure a lot of you are rich white folks too.
Maybe. Maybe not. We'd like to be.
You will be rich black folks as well.
All of us are poor white.
You can't improve your life as long as we have the worst unemployment rate in the whole country. The governor excuses that it's just statistics. Statistics are based on facts. Georgia is at the bottom. We have the third highest failure for high school students to finish high school in the whole country. We've got the worst unemployment rate. We've lost 9,000 teachers in Georgia since this present governor got in office. 9,000 teachers less and more students every year. The classes are bigger. We've got a lot of schools in Georgia, as you know, that only go to school 4 days a week because they can save money on school buses just 4 days a week, heating the schoolhouses on 4 days a week. But that means that the children in Georgia only get an education 4 days a week. That needs to change. As you know, we've had 80,000 fewer Hope Scholars in Georgia since this governor came into power. 80,000 less. We got 45,000 fewer students now in Georgia's vocational technical schools because this governor's cutting the funding for education. Jason is going to change that. Is that what you want? Jason wanted me to fill in for him around the urban areas today because he's in Tifton and Thomasville and Waycross and Valdosta in the southern part of the state with his wife, who's a school teacher, his 2 boys, and Jason is on the bus, as you know, and he's campaigning in South Georgia, so he asked me to fill in today. I'm a poor substitute, but I do want to tell you, get out to vote and get those 5 people you promised to get, and Jason will be in the governor's mansion, and Michelle Nunn will be in the state. Say goodbye because I got to go to another 3 or 4 days event today. Jason told me to do it. I can't disobey. I can't disobey the future governor of Georgia. Harder!